This is the last your turn. So we need to look at our problem and see if we can easily get either x or y by itself. And if you look, getting y by itself here would require dividing by 2, which 5 is not divisible by 2, so that'll be a fraction. Down here, dividing by 5 will make both of these a fraction. So it looks like solving for x will be our best bet. And we have a 1x here already and a 3x here, so we want to take that top equation and solve it for x. So let's number our equations. Now we're going to take equation number 1 and we're going to solve it for x. So that means we want to get x by itself on one side. So we need to get rid of this subtracting 2y, so we need to add 2y to both sides to get rid of it. So that causes the negative 2y to zero out on the left side, leaving us with just x is equal to, and then we can't combine these because they're not like terms, so we just write them side by side. So 2y plus 5. So now we have an equation that has one of the variables by itself, and that's our equation number 1. So now we can substitute this expression in for x anywhere we want because x is equal to this. So we're just substituting in this expression in for x. We want to combine the two equations, so we're going to substitute this expression in for x into the second equation. So we're going to plug it in there to the second equation. So let's rewrite our second equation. So it's 3, and then instead of x, we write 2y plus 5, because that's what x is equal to. That's our substitution. Minus 5y is equal to 8. Now we have an equation that has only one variable, and we can solve for it. The first step, since we have these parentheses, is to distribute that 3. So 3 times 2y gives us 6y. 3 times 5 gives us a positive 15, and then minus 5y on the outside is equal to 8. Now you can see we have like terms on the same side. We've got a positive 6y and a negative 5y. So since they're on the same side, we can just combine them. 6y plus a negative 5y is just a positive 1y, and we still have plus 15 is equal to 8. Then our final step is just to get rid of that 15. So we subtract 15 from both sides, which makes it 0 out on that left side, leaving us with y is equal to, and 8 minus 15 is negative 7. So box that up. So now we know the first variable, y is equal to negative 7. So now we're going to go back to one of our original equations and plug in negative 7 for y to solve for x. Again, it does not matter which one we plug it into because it should be the same answer for both. So I think one of them is easier. It really doesn't matter, but I'm going to go ahead and plug it into equation number 1. So equation number 1 says x minus 2 times y, but instead of y, we're going to write negative 7 because I know that's what y is equal to. And then equals 5. So then we just evaluate x, and then be careful here. Treat that as a negative 2 times a negative 7 is a positive 14. So it's x plus 14 is equal to 5. And then to finish solving for x, we subtract 14 from both sides, which causes the 14 to 0 out on the left side, leaving us with x is equal to, and 5 minus 14 is negative 9. So box that up, and we have the x is equal to negative 9. So since we used equation number 1 to solve for the second variable, we need to check our answer in equation number 2, because we already know it works for equation 1 since we plugged in negative 7 and got out negative 9. So let's check it in that first equation. So in our second equation, in our second equation, 3 times x, but instead of x, we're going to put negative 9 because we know that's what x is supposed to be equal to. Minus 5 times y. Instead of y, though, we write negative 7. And then equals, with a question mark, 8, because we're not sure if that works yet. So this is us checking. So we just evaluate. 3 times negative 9 is negative 27. Be careful here. Negative 5 times negative 7, treat that as a negative 5, is positive 35. Is that really equal to 8? And yes, negative 27 plus 35 is equal to 8. So 8 is equal to 8. We know our answer is correct. And then our final answer will be written as a coordinate point. So it is -9, -7. So that is the point where those two lines intersect, and that is our solution.